Welcome to Tika Talks. This is the top 10 things I've learned this year before turning 32. I was gonna do 32 things before turning 32, but that would be way too long. Wait, I'm really gonna be 32 or 31? No, I am 31 now, right? I think the pandemic messed up all of our sense of time or what really happened in these last couple of years. But I love that it's gonna feel like a brand new year in a couple months, a fresh start, and to look forward to the positives and the adventure of a new year, because you never really know where life is gonna take you and what's gonna happen. And as you watch this video, feel free to comment below what are some things that you've learned this year that have really impacted you. I would love to hear from people at all different kinds of life stages and all different ages. The first thing is that not everybody is going to like me, and that's okay. I used to be this person that I really needed this external validation. I really wanted other people to like me, and I think that's very normal, that's very human. We probably all feel like that, but I think this year I've really been trying to let go of that, and I have. And I'm so much happier as a result. Not everybody is gonna be for everyone. Like, I'm not for everyone, and that's okay, that's life. Not everyone is compatible, not everyone is gonna get along with each other. And that truly doesn't mean anything negative. It doesn't mean anything bad. It just means that we are unique. We are individual, we are different. But I think I'm definitely getting a lot better at that, and by no means am I perfect at all. Definitely still learning, and I'm definitely still working towards. Number 2, that it's okay to be lazy or unproductive sometimes. It's okay to just sit there and breathe for a minute without actually doing anything. I'm still working on this, but I've definitely gotten so much better this year, because a couple of years ago, I know that I would beat myself up so much if I wasn't constantly productive, constantly doing something. If I wasn't constantly busy, I would perceive myself as lazy. But now I make relaxation an intentional choice, and I really try not to beat myself up over relaxing. Relaxation is actually necessary to do our best work. If we give ourselves a break to recuperate, to breathe, to just be for a little bit, and allowing ourselves to even be bored, not being stimulated constantly by social media or entertainment, just allowing ourselves to just be. I find that when I'm in that mode and I really let myself have those moments of intentional relaxation, I actually end up being so much more creative. Like, those are the moments when I'm most relaxed that I actually have the best ideas, like for videos, or I have like a sudden burst of motivation to do something. And I know sometimes that kind of defeats the purpose, because you're trying to not be productive intentionally, but then when you do that, you're like, oh, I want to do this and this and this. But I think that's okay, because it's coming from a mindset of, I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna give myself that time, and maybe that's just what you needed in that moment. The next one is, I have really embraced slowing down this year and learning to fall back in love with reading books for pleasure. I used to be a big reader when I was a kid. I read all the Harry Potter books, I read the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, I read all of those popular books back in the day when I was a kid. And this year I've read so many good books. Okay, I'm so proud of myself, because I had a goal to read 10 books this year, just a small goal, and I've actually exceeded it. I'm on book number 11, and I have a couple more books that I really want to finish before the end of this year. I've been actually documenting, because I'm kind of a nerd, I've been documenting all the books that I've been reading in Storygraph. But anyways, I've read some really good books this year that I've learned a lot from. Not only have I learned like good vocab words, there's this book I was reading today that used the word ostensibly, and that is a new vocab word for me, okay? The type 2 diabetic was consuming agave instead of sugar, ostensibly for their health, but found out when they met with their favorite dietitian that agave affects our body pretty much the same way regular sugar does. Yeah, not sure if I'm really gonna be using that word in real life, but I don't know. It's fun to learn from books. But if you wanna see a video of my favorite books this year, let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in. I know that's kind of off-brand for my channel, but you know, that's giving something to your mind. It's giving something to your health. Reading is good for your soul. The next one is being appreciating the little things in life. Sometimes I will literally go outside. Am I really admitting this on camera? Notice something about the sky that you ran outside to like look, because one time the sky looked so blue and I was sitting in my apartment. It was a little weird. So I went outside to investigate and find out what's going on. Like, why is the sky so blue? And then I just ended up going on a walk and just admiring the sky. Yes, I'm weird like that. I like to see the world as fleeting, because I guess it is kind of fleeting. Moments are fleeting. No matter how hard we try to hold on to the past, it's already gone. Ooh, that's a quote from How I Met Your Mother. If you know, you know. Okay, so for example, like really good food or a really happy moment. Those things don't last forever, but somehow they end up being like those little things in life that you look back on and that give you so much joy, even when you're not experiencing them. I can think back on them with some kind of fondness. It ends up making me feel happy even in that moment when I'm not experiencing it and I'm just reminiscing. And it's those moments in life for me that make life so much fun for me. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I think that kind of weirdness and that kind of appreciation for life makes me a happier person. The next one is that every single person in this life, every single person that we meet is going through something that we know nothing about. Everyone has struggles and everyone just wants to be happy. We cannot judge someone based on how they look or how they're acting in that moment. Because of that, I really try to make it a priority to be kind, because we never really know what somebody is going through. I think kindness is very much underrated these days. But what I've realized too is that bringing happiness to somebody else actually makes me happier. And actually, there's a Science of Happiness course. I will link it down below. Science of Happiness from Yale. It's a free course from Dr. Laurie Santos. One of the lessons, she talks about how there's actually research to show that when we are kind to other people or when we do something nice for somebody else, even if it's just a small thing, there's scientific evidence to show that it actually does bring us happiness. The next one is that I have learned, especially this year, to rely on myself for my own happiness. And I don't think there's anything wrong with relying on other people for happiness sometimes, but at the end of the day, people come and go in your life for many different reasons. But at the end of the day, you have to live with yourself forever. So I really believe that the relationship that we have with ourselves is probably the most important one, because we have to live with that one forever. Do I care for myself? Do I care for myself mentally? Do I care for myself physically? Am I doing something positive for my mind and my body? Because this thing that I have, this body that I'm living in, it's my only body. I don't get another one. We only have one body that we live in. And I think this mindset has also made me a much more positive person. Also, if you're enjoying this video at all right now, could you hit the like button for me? That helps me know that you're actually here enjoying it. Okay, the next one is I've especially, embraced this year, that it's okay to be alone. Just because you're alone doesn't mean you're lonely. And it probably won't last forever, like most things in life. Yes, we are social creatures and we need human connection, but it's also okay to be alone. It's okay to sit alone in your apartment. Do the things that make you happy. It's okay to not constantly be surrounded by people. You also never know when your singleness is gonna end. This is the kind of mindset I like to have, that like my singleness could end at any minute. So I need to enjoy it as much as possible now, because you never know when it's gonna end. This person above me loves to, I don't know what he does up there. Like, I could meet the love of my life tomorrow and get married in a year. And there it is. That's the end. That's the end of my singleness. Life is just so crazy and so random and so unpredictable. And so many things in life are just fleeting. These moments just pass us. And if we're not enjoying them and embracing it, then we're gonna miss out on it forever. Okay, number 8. I love this one, is the importance of documentation. Documenting your life, documenting your struggles. I do that through the form of video and through the form of my journals. And when I get older, 40, 50, 60, maybe I will look back on this video and think to myself, man, I was just freshly hatched. These are my journals. I have kept journals for as long as I can remember. There's probably some more that I've had when I was younger that I just don't have anymore. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 journals. I know this was my oldest one. This was what, 2010. This goes back to 2010. Wow. And sometimes I will look back on some of my entries from a long time ago, and it puts so many things into perspective, because I read some of these things and I think to myself, like, who was that person that I was talking about in here? Like, I don't even remember who that person was. And I was so stressed out or anxious or worrying about something that, looking back on it, it doesn't matter now. But it's really cool to look back and see where your mindset was at years and years ago. And in the moment, it might not seem very important. It might not seem important to start writing things down in that moment. But sometimes what I'll do is just get out my journal and just write whatever's on my mind. It doesn't even have to make any sense. And sometimes the things in here are kind of useless and they don't make any sense, and that's okay.
It's really cool just to see how far I've come as a person, things that I've learned over the years. It helps me understand my present self more too, because I just see the growth, I see what I've been through, and I think this all helps me understand why I am the way that I am now. I've changed so much, my values are different, I've learned and I've grown so much, and it's really cool to pinpoint specific years and specific moments. And this just helps me also air out any stresses or anxiety, because if my mind is racing, if I have a million things on my mind or I'm overwhelmed, writing it out really helps me relax and feel more calm.
And that brings me to my next one, is that this year, I feel like I've really been doing this a lot better now, learning to trust my gut. You know, as I found out in these journals, sometimes I was making decisions and I wasn't so confident in those decisions. But now looking back, there are some decisions that I've made, just like gut decisions, that now with perspective, I realized, oh my gosh, that was probably the best decision I've made. And I'm so glad that I made that decision going in kind of blind, but at least like making a decision that my gut was telling me, even though I didn't fully trust it. Some of those decisions were gut reactions, and I couldn't answer all of the questions that I had about why I was making that decision. Couldn't put my finger on exactly why I felt that way, why I wanted to make that decision. And I would second guess myself in these journal entries. Like I was saying, I would overthink and second guess it. And now looking back, having so much having the perspective of time, I realized those were really good decisions that I made. And that is one thing that has helped me learn to trust my gut, by proving to myself that I listened to my gut. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I listened to it, and the outcome of all of that was positive. Me personally, I have historically been a person that has not trusted my gut. So bringing that side out of myself, I think, has been such a positive for me this year. So one time I was sitting with a coworker, a friend. We were giving a presentation over Zoom together, and everything was fine. It was all going fine. Like, I think we were doing a really good job. It was coming across really well. There was some kind of anxiety I felt from her. I felt this energy, and it was like going through me, and I felt my heart rate starting to increase for some reason. And I thought to myself, this is not coming from me. Like, I don't feel anxious. Why is my heart rate increasing? Why am I getting this energy? So I turned to her and I said, hey, are you anxious right now? Because maybe I'm feeling your energy. Even though you're not coming across anxious, I'm feeling something. And she told me, yeah, she was feeling anxious. So that kind of blew my mind. Like, how did I pick up on her energy? It was kind of weird. I had a therapist and I told this story to that therapist, and she had me practice, instead of suppressing it or pushing it away, leaning into that empathy, this ability to like just pick up what other people are feeling. This sounds so weird and so hippy dippy, like now that I'm saying it out loud, but I think that this whole practice has also in turn helped me to trust my gut more. And that is something that for me personally, I have been lacking for a lot of my life, but I'm so glad that I have learned to try to lean into that. And the last one is that I've been learning that life is way too short to not do the things that I enjoy, to not achieve the goals that I want to achieve, and be the person that I want to be. I have the ability to make myself happy, to change my life. Whether I have to sacrifice some time now to meal prep so that future me is happier and healthier and doesn't have to think throughout the week, what am I gonna eat? Because, you know, past me took care of it. This is the year that I've done a lot of things by myself, and I have so embraced that. I went to Vegas by myself. I went to the Lovers and Friends concert by myself, and it was so much fun. Oh my gosh, I actually made some friends while I was there. But at the end of the day, when I'm on my deathbed, I want to look back on my life and think, and just like be proud of the person that I've become and that I was, and be proud of the things that I did in this life, and be proud of the experiences that I've had, achieving the goals that I want to achieve that will make me, my future self, proud. And part of all of that is just like embracing doing things by myself, because when you truly think about it, life is actually really short. Time just goes by. No matter what's going on in our life, time keeps going and going and going and going. So are we going to be happy with the person that we've become? Are we going to be happy with the choices that we've made, the decisions that we made, and where our life is headed? Because I truly believe that we have the power to change our lives. So hopefully this video wasn't too cheesy or cringy. I apologize if it was, but if you're still here watching, thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy this one, and YouTube thinks that you might enjoy this one. I'm 31. I think I'm right. I was born in 91. Wow. Why am I so nervous? Oh my God. It's okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna need a minute to figure this out before I actually start the video, because that would be embarrassing. Yeah, I'm 31 right now. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So this is so embarrassing. I've confirmed. I made this bracelet. It says Wheezy on it. Wheezy.